Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in the state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent, it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits only temporarily those who participate in it. Everyone else is a victim of the theft, the deceit, the dishonesty, and the lies that corruption feeds on. You need to know that a corrupt person is stealing from you. Corruption is filthy work and despicable acts of treachery done under the table and behind closed doors. Corruption is a disgusting shame. Corruption keeps a nation back from true development and from progress. Wise investors steer clear of a corrupt environment. They would rather put their resources into a place where the playing field of opportunity is equal for all and not bent towards feeding the financial lust of corrupt, lying, cheating, thieving politicians and government officials. How many wonderful development projects have been lost because the investors didn't want to do business in a swamp of evil? When those great projects go to another nation or to some other place, we all lose. Believe me when I tell you that corruption steals from you, it steals from all of us. Corruption plunders the nation's wealth. Corrupt people compromise on truth, equity, and fairness, choosing instead to feed off the short-term benefits of crookedness, exploitation, and financial perversion. Corruption is not just a personal matter, it's a culture. It's a way of life, not just for individual people, but for companies, communities, governments, and nations. Corrupt nations, hiding behind large companies, will seek to invest in other weak nations in order to take over the assets of the nation that they've invested into. They will provide financial loans to a nation for the much-needed infrastructure, and they will do it with assets that they provide. They will sign contracts by lining the pockets of rotten government officials who participate in this kind of corruption and are then held hostage by their own deceit and greed. Corruption is nothing less than a form of theft and national robbery. A corrupt person steals from everyone in society.
Ghetto, run, keep going on, less process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So just as I and I as a watching man around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Hey, oh, we gonna bust down Babylon walls. Prepare and read the way. Prepare and read the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down, war and cry. Fight down, me say Rastafari. War and cry and do the up righteousness. Hey, we love Jah, and we love Jah, and we love Jah,
Jah Rastafari, save all people.
hey, we love Jah, we love Jah,
Jah
we love Jah.
Jah Rastafari, save all people.
Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I say, watch your man, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace while we penalize. Hey, oh, night. We gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare the way, prepare the way for Jah Rastafari. Fight down, war and fight,
Fight down, war and fight,
Rastafari, war and fight, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah,
Jah
and we love Jah,
Jah Rastafari, preserve all
and we love Jah, Jah. Me love Jah,
Jah
me love Jah,
Jah Rastafari, preserve all.
me love Jah,
Jah Rastafari,
Jah Rastafari, Jah.
Rastafari.
Yeah, the next song is going to be the last song for tonight, and then DJ Twink.
Yeah, we're still there on the gullet side. If you want to know, just look over here. So, Globalists, good morning and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this morning. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning and welcome. We're out here for the big head wharf dog this morning because she spoke a lot of gibberish yesterday. I don't know if you were in the Public Accounts Committee yesterday with Pamela Monroe, Ellis, and the Clerk of the House of Parliament. Morning, everyone. Welcome. So we're going to revisit that this morning. But we also have a few questions to ask before we revisit Parliament this morning. Honor the globalists, honor the welcome. Hit the like button, please. No playing around this morning. Hit the like button. Leonard Jenkins, Diana Brown, good morning. Colleen, good morning. Debbie Jervis, Stevie, Wagwan. Blossom Riley, good morning. Laverne, good morning. George Beckford, good morning. And welcome. Honor. Now, as I said yesterday, that there were some Auditor General report tabled in Parliament yesterday. So we ought to look out for the breaches and the stealing and all of that. But I don't want it to sound like I'm defending Darrell Vaz this morning in relation to the Starlink galang in them. The $12 million for the 200 Starlink. I really don't have a problem with the price. The problem, though, as identified, Gloria Taylor Morning. The problem, though, as identified by the Auditor General, these people fail to follow the rules. When I check how much 200 Starlink would have cost in the UK, Sharon, good morning. Colleen, how you do? It would probably at bulk rate, the 200 would have come up to about 80-something thousand pounds UK. When we calculate that, that's like 18, 19,000 million Jamaican dollars, Marcia, how you do? Marcia Gale, Marcia Thomas, how you do? Morning. So me no too have no problem with the 12 million Jamaica dollar for the 200 Starlink. My problem are the rules where them look away from in everything that they do. Similarly, the Auditor General flagged information security, access, and data protection issues with the Support Jamaica website where Andrew Friend create. When a member said Melissa never blow past with too good before Andrew Friend come up with the Support Jamaica website and see the Auditor General flag it for security, access, and data protection breach issues rather. So I don't know when this government will ever get things right. Now, in relation to, I'm gonna come to Marlene. It look like every time JPS get hampered, them blame it on somebody, and them have a way. Me not say it not happen, but them have a way of say people are steal and destroy them things as to why there is a delay, because we end January into February. February soon done, you know. I'm got 24 days left, mind you. By your blink, February done. But me notice Darrell Vaz and JPS always have come up with a level of excuse. Now to Flight Green, come hear you. Now, Pelican Bar. Oh, Paul! You turn up just about when we had the roll call. Oh, you know. Now, Pelican Bar Flight Green has been reopened, which is the only thing at the moment that will bring some economic life to our community. But Flight Green, there's a BUT. It is why I said to you the other day, the help of carrying fish pot wire to them in parity, it's kind of no help at all. Annie Jones, it's help, but it's kind of no help at all, because Pelican Bar will help them to revive themselves. But all of the people in the community who is involved in the boat tour, Flight Green, won't be able to jump in and get back into the economy of Pelican Bar, because the engine sees up, them boat bust up. This is why I'm saying to you, what they need, Flight Green, is loan from the government. They're not asking for handout, Suzette Brown. How you do? They're asking for loan from the government to buy back them engine and to fix them boat. Because without that Flight Green, the wire are gonna stay there and dry rot. Because they can't buy putty, they can't buy nail, they can't buy lace and wire, they can't buy rope, they can't buy buoy. And even if they make it cross this up, they would have to swim carry pat them gonna see 1-1 if they make it out there with them. Cause they're not on a boat, no engine, Flight Green. Let's jump uptown. How you do? Marcia Thomas. Because they don't have no boat, no engine. And without the boat and the engine, the economy and viability, Flight Green, is dim. Without boat and engine, the economic viability is dim in getting business of the local tourism that Pelican Bar provide. What the fishermen of Parity need, Flight Green, is assistance, is loans to purchase engine, because them business ain't gonna go nowhere, ain't gonna restart without them having an engine. And without them having the boat is not even such the big issue, because you can taka and dry and buy the fiber mat, the liquid, and the dryer what we fix the boat. That is not such the major issue. The engines, Floyd Green. The engine, Minister of Fisheries and Fish. The engines, they need loans to help them to buy engines to get back them business up and running. The business can't get up and running with fish pot wire, Floyd Green. Fish pot wire come in at the middle of their rebuilding. Them have to rebuild them vessel first. Without their vessel, they can't do anything. Denise Hilton. Without their vessel, they can't do anything. Well, the Starlink them is like it's a waste of money anyway, because they get them and they really not use them and they pack up in a store when the government could use them, set them up in a places like St. Elizabeth and so on, where we barely can get to talk to people them apparently same way, you know. 1 minute what a talk and the phone kick out. Arlene Scott, how you do? 1 minute what a talk and the phone kick out. We still can't get to talk to people them apparently. If the government did care that way, then the government could have used some of those Starlink set up in a communities like Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth, Hanover, wherever we not get no connectivity. We still can barely talk to party people. If I go to Cousin Myrna have Starlink, it would be easy for me to get through to her. But the rest of the family, it's almost a no. When my brother fi talk to me, when Karen fi talk to me, he have to walk up and down pan road. He have to walk up and down pan road till them find a little reception for call we. But still, all this money spent and the things are not being utilized. But then again, we expect Holy Patif in all this something to go on with the Fred Sanders. Oh, you do. Now, let me turn to Marlene Malaho Fort. In relation to the Cyber Act, in relation to the Cyber Act, Marlene Malaho Fort, me notice we're doing a lot to clobber us, not just in Jamaica, abroad. And it was Marlene Malaho Fort asked to bring back criminal libel. But if you understand Section 9 of the Cybercrime Act, it works very similarly to what was criminal libel, albeit with its updates, where that malicious communication clause within Section 9 of the Cybercrime Act, that's operate like criminal libel, where they can come after you criminally if they can't get you for defamation. But what they're seeking to do is even broader the tentacle, and both PNP and JLP are on board with this. They're broadening the tentacles where they can even come after us abroad. But I think that Marlene Malaho Fort have problem with is it shows you how these people are out of touch and out of social understanding of where we are in social media and AI. Because one of the things I've been how you do, one of the things that she would be coming after with for, she said the other day, she sees somebody, they make a AI image of her with her in handcuff and police around her and says she's being arrested. Marlene Malahou, there's nothing criminal about that. All these are called social media memes. Memes. Funny things to laugh at, you stupid woman. Memes, darling. That's what they're called. Social media memes, Earl Reed. Morning. Often, you see the other day, all sorts of memes of Donald Trump, memes of the Venezuelan president. It's what happens on social media. We make memes of political figures to criticize them and to show the irrelevance of them. There's nothing criminal about that, Marlene Malahou fought. Me notice you no want protect what you don't have, never have, will never have. And even if we don't get it, it falls through SIB like a water, character and integrity. You don't have it. So don't try to protect something you don't have. They're called social media memes. There's nothing criminal. Oh, yes, a mother fool. There's nothing criminal, mother fool, about a social media meme. We use them to critique, to criticize on them. Raymond. Oh, you know. Oh, she's still a judge. Man, does she not still sit on the bench? If her political life over tomorrow, Marlene Malahou is going right back on the bench. Marlene. They're memes, Marlene. They're called memes. Ask Google, Marlene, what are memes? Why Jamaica politicians feel them above criticism? Why Jamaican politicians feel that they're above vilification of the public? We are allowed to vilify or not thief with every day or not tell lie to it every day. We're entitled to vilify on the public. The honorable treatment on the want and the placid treatment on the want. We now run ego nursery around here. Social media is not a place for ego nursery. If we don't have an ego, look a nursery that caresses ego and go. But when it comes to social media, if we can't stand the public badgering, get out of public life. It's a choice, you idiot. You can't come after us because we put you in a picture in a handcuff. What is criminal about that? What we are saying in the memes, that you all should be arrested for your crimes and go to prison for them. You speak it out of mouth and you speak it in an image. An image is 1,000-word junker. What's your problem? I've been barred. I've been in the legal profession for God knows how long. I'm still so dunce. I'm still not understand society. Why you don't go read? I same way the old man. Nobody want one nursing care job because Delroy Chuck need nursing care, you know? Yeah, man, Delroy Chuck need nursing care. So I don't know if no. I don't know if no want a job. I don't know if no want a job. To look at a Delroy Chuck. Delroy Chuck all in a parliament. I do Juliet job yesterday, you know. The eyes are the nose. Even Juliet have to laugh. So if anyone want a job, if you look at a Delroy Chuck, where I care of a Delroy Chuck, Delroy Chuck out of it, you know. And yesterday Delroy Chuck did pitchy patchy. If you want about pitchy patchy, Barbara Simpson, oh you do. Yesterday, you should have watched Delroy Chuck and the jury, the amendment to the jury. Poor man confused. Every man favor she. Budget coming up next month, you know. Not tighten down on herself for the drama becoming on. Know what she got tell with it. I wonder if she got give it we can buy pro box this time. Like how we in the Melissa crisis. But Marlene, it's called memes, darling. Memes. Something funny to laugh at. A way of using image to speak to you all. Stop the nonsense. But it was hurt. It is hurtful. It's not funny. It's not funny when you're not thief. It's not funny when you buy guns, give young men to kill them. It's just not funny. It's not funny when you conjure up evidence from people innocent picking it. It's not funny when you shoot people picking it and put a gun in them and answer them they are shoot at town. It's not funny, Marlene. But cut the bullshit, Marlene. Cut it. Because I don't know if nobody knows, say, or you know, say, a bullshit you attack. How if you come after if you put you in a picture in a handcuff? You should be in prison. The whole are not guilty of Andrew crime by association. All of you are guilty. Let me go to foreign a bit before I come back a yard. White women, good morning. Honest or quiet? We always see you, you know, protesting on the street for lobbying your government to protect you from immigrants, asylum seekers, and black and brown men. Similarly, you women in America, we always see you protesting against the Mexican rapists and the immigrants and all of those aliens. But you all are quiet. Why? There's these white women who regularly protest in Britain and America against to be protected from black and brown men, immigrant and asylum seekers from sexual violence. You all are suddenly quiet. Knowing that the revelation of the Epstein file disproportionately abused young white girls. None of you are out. Andrew Mountbatten, even on Monday, today is Wednesday, even on Monday, Andrew Mountbatten was riding horse on the grounds of Windsor Castle, even though his pedophile brother, Charles Mountbatten, tell him, say, if he left from October gone. Andrew is still driving state Land Rover. Andrew still live at Windsor Castle. Why another Windsor Castle demonstrate and throw stones? Because your daughters and nieces and nephews were cattled by these powerful white men and abused by these powerful white men. And the whole of the white women them silence. These white women them always see every weekend on street and demonstrate about against black and brown men, immigrants and asylum seekers, said that they're at risk of sexual violence. Won't they know? You all who demonstrated week by week against the Pakistani and all of that. All of this is coming out with powerful white men abusing young white girls and no outrage from the white women who are always on the street with their racial profiling. Honest so quiet. Why you not throw a stone? Why you not throw a stone at Buckingham Palace? Why you not throw a stone at Windsor Castle? Why on another parliament a throw a stone? When all of these powerful rich white men is outed to be cattling your nieces and nephews and daughters. Even a slut like Lady Mandelson. And you all are quiet. You all are quiet. And we couldn't rest in peace. See a everyday Pakistani, immigrant, brown and black men. So a white man rape different. White man sexual abuse different. Come on, white women. Only so quiet. Never expect that son one time. You without on a ballerina carry on. Remember, Epstein said, don't bring me any niggers. Epstein said, make sure don't bring me any of those lots. All they wants to do is to carry out research on us, on our genetics. And want to harvest our organs to patch them up for them to live longer and healthier. So I don't know why white women so silent and I feed them daughters. I feed them daughters at the forefront of this global crime committed by rich white men. If it is that Peter Mandelson, Tony Blair, Bill Clinton, Andrew Mountbatten, Bill Gates, Richard Branson, and all of them won't be prosecuted, then free P. Diddy. Free P. Diddy, because to say, you can't have all of these rich, powerful white rapists and pedophiles walk the street, and then when it comes to sexual violence, a black men alone on a target. Andrew must be sent to America. It's the only way we're going to get justice against Andrew Mountbatten. The police already investigate Peter Mandelson, but they now go do nothing to Andrew. So the only way we're going to get justice against Andrew Mountbatten if Andrew faced the rhythm in front of the FBI and in front of Congress, because they're bound for perjury themselves. They're bound for perjury themselves in front of Congress. So Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Bill Gates, Richard Branson, Tony Blair, the whole of Violet Watson, all you do. The whole on. You must go on trial too. These holy reduction, the only thing the DOJ should be reducting is the name and faces of the victims in the Epstein file. The rest are not forget fling out and dash out. But white women are not too silent, because we know so not always demonstrate when it comes to black and brown immigrant and asylum seekers. But we are going over the PAAC committee. The WAF dog was there yesterday, and to me, Colleen was lying. Lying through the canine teeth. So, make we listen this morning, and then we'll come back on the other side, or we will tap and interrupt the little big head liar.
Committee members and colleagues, Chairman Hope Blake, Deputy Financial Secretary in the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, and with me is Barrington Thomas, Principal Director of the Accounting and Financial Policy Branch.
And I know there are other members of the Houses of Parliament. Just introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. Ms. Tiffany Stewart, Senior Legislative Counsel.
And you're also with the Parliament? Okay, well, just...
Anyone there where did the PAAC committee yesterday?
Introduce yourselves, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie Hamilton. I'm the Senior Research Officer.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angelica Patterson, and I'm the Research Officer.
Okay. Madam Clerk, I'll invite you to introduce yourself and the team from the Parliament that are here. Is the mic on?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Okay, I was there for a bit.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hold, just turn it up, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Colleen Lowe, Clerk to the Houses of Parliament. To my right, I have Ms. Ashley Zemenis, Legislative Counsel. To my left, Ms. Terry-Ann Bury, the Director of Procurement. We also have Ms. Michelle Landels, who is the Senior Procurement Officer who acted as the Director of Procurement whilst the investigations were taking place. And we also have with us our new Transport Manager, Ms. Sophia Blair Cole, directly behind. And then to my right,
Lady J
behind,
loves
we
Miranda.
have
Oh, no,
the
no.
new Principal Finance Officer, Mr. Lashane Robinson. And then on the back, we have the Facilities and Office Manager, Mr. Renford Watson, along with the Marshal to the Houses, Mr. Wayne Blade, who is now providing direct supervisor report for the Facilities and Office Manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson, my namesake, I'm not a stickler for the dress code like the member from Southwest St. Catherine, but generally when you come in here, ensure that you have a tie, okay? All right. What we normally do, members, I'll invite the Auditor General to provide a summary of her findings, and then the clerk will have an opportunity to respond, and then we can go into questions after. Madam Auditor General.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, we're proceeding according to the agenda, item 5. So we're starting with a special report.
Yes, correct.
And when we're going to move then immediately to if we have time, I suppose, to the annual report?
Well, what we intend to do today is not a detailed discussion of the annual report, but to identify the areas from the annual report that we intend to probe further. Okay. So we don't intend to have a detailed discussion. So for example, members could indicate, for example, a particular ministry or agency or department that you believe requires probing, and then we would invite them to the next sitting of the PAAC.
Okay, just wanted
sure.
Administratively to get that. Okay.
Yeah. Madam Auditor General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The special audit of the Houses of Parliament was undertaken in response to matters brought to my attention by a whistleblower regarding the administration and
hit the like button, please, Globalists. Support the program. Hit the like button.
In accordance with our standard operation procedures, a preliminary review of the reported allegations was undertaken. This review determined that sufficient grounds existed to commission a special audit, of which the primary objective was to assess whether the procurement and contract management practices, government fleet vehicle management, and the use of an official credit card was conducted in keeping with applicable laws, regulations, and guidelines. The audit was designed to evaluate compliance and to identify any deviations from established.
Yes, Abena, if you're going in front of the crown in a participatory manner, whether be in Parliament or the courts, it's offensive to speak to the judge or the chair without having a tie. A judge would run you out of the court if you're not wearing a tie. If you're participating, not as someone on the fringe.
Standards in these areas. The report highlights breaches of established rules and controls, weaknesses in relation to procurement planning and execution, fleet management, and credit card administration. However, I wish to point out, Mr. Chairman, that one allegation regarding the use of the government-issued credit card for personal purpose was not established by us. We saw no evidence to support that allegation. At the same time, the report that you should have with you reflects management responses and action taken by management before the completion of our report. Since then, I have received, in fact, yesterday, I received a response from the Houses of Parliament, which was sent Friday evening. The prompt, which I would have shared with the secretary to the committee, is presented in a different format because the prompt covers the executive summary, the key findings only. The response provided by the clerk is more detailed and went through the full report. I have not had an opportunity to validate anything contained in this prompt that is in addition to the information that was already supplied. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Members, just so I can bring everybody up to speed, once a ministry, agency, or department is subject to an audit, we provide that entity with generally 4 weeks to formally respond to the audit findings. This is in addition to the opportunity that they would have during the course of the audit to provide information to the Auditor General. But once it is tabled and it's final, the entity has 4 weeks to respond, which is why if you look at the status report, you will see the status of other entities that have been subject to audits and the time frame given to them to respond. Once that report comes in, the Auditor General generally does a validation of those responses. Given the late time frame between the submission of the report, what the Auditor General has indicated is that she didn't have the time to validate the response. So I just want to be clear. Member Seawright, I see your mic. I don't know if you have it on deliberately or not. Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, I'll invite you to provide your response to the findings.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can. First up, let's talk about AI color.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today, I appear before the committee in my capacity as accounting officer for the House.
I think you have to speak a little closer. Pull the mic a little closer to you.
Are you hearing me better?
Yes, that's better.
So, sorry.
No shame on a thief, so no shame on a get killed.
Okay, it's easier for me to just hold. So, good morning again, everyone. Today I appear before the committee in my capacity as the accounting officer for the Houses of Parliament, and I wish to affirm my respect for the committee's oversight role and my commitment to accountability and the proper stewardship of public resources. The matters before the committee today arose from a special audit conducted by the Auditor General. My office has reviewed the findings, accepted those that are founded, and have implemented corrective measures where weaknesses were identified. I wish to state clearly at the outset that based on the findings, there was no actual financial loss to the government arising from the deficiencies identified, noting that certain matters remain under statutory review in accordance with the Financial Administration and Audit Act. The auditors did not find any private or personal use of the government-funded credit card, and all funds identified were fully accounted for. In relation to fleet vehicle management, I did not authorize any personal use of government vehicles, nor did I authorize or condone the falsification of entries into logbooks. Where control weaknesses came to light, those arrangements were stopped immediately and stronger oversight mechanisms were put in place. As part of strengthening governance and ensuring compliance with the FAA Act, the Houses of Parliament approached the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and formally requested the implementation of an internal audit committee. This represents the first time such a committee was being established in the history of the Parliament and is a significant step in institutionalizing oversight and accountability. Several of the issues raised in the report reflected historical control gaps and periods of administrative transition.
Pamela.
Once these matters were brought to my attention, directives were issued, controls strengthened, and governance arrangements formalized to prevent recurrence. I'm here today to assist the committee fully to clarify the factual and governance context and to answer questions on the systems that are now in place to protect the public interest and the integrity of the Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll start off by looking at key finding number 1. And for members, I'm reading from the prompt, but you can ask questions either from the prompt or from the full report. The issue of the unauthorized use of the motor vehicle. On the 3rd page, and I just bring your attention to a bullet point. HOP's response dated September 2025 cited August 15, 2025 memo claiming Clark's permission, even though no evidence not provided. Can you elaborate on that? Because the Auditor General is saying there was a response from, so I'm just for everybody so you can follow. I'm reading from this prompt and I'm on, this would be 1, 2, I'm on this page. It's not numbered, but I think it's page 3. Key finding number 2, bullet point number 3. And I just want to ensure just clarity on, you have this? Or you don't have this? Could we provide a copy to the clerk?
Parliament always do them something without numbering panel pages.
And this is in relation to overnight retention and permission for the use of the vehicle. So the bullet point number 3 states the response dated September 2025, cited August 15, memo claiming Clark's permission, although evidence not provided. I'm just seeking clarity on that.
Hit the like button, globalist. Evan, how you do? Hit the like button now. Don't make me start
regarding the overnight retention.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so by way of...
Just again, put the mic a little closer to you.
Okay, so by way of background information, just to state that the officer in question was completing part-time studies at the University of the West Indies. And he, based on his time schedule at the time, he would often return to the Parliament to complete his duties and responsibilities. And this officer was also the victim of crime, having left work late one evening. He was deprived of his personal.
I wonder if you and the officer would be able to show us evidence that that crime was reported to the police. Because Colleen, you make it up as you go along, you know? You just have to make it up as you go along. You think while you talk. Liar, we know how to identify liar, you know? You're thinking while you're talking.
Effects in the downtown area. And it was known to us that he would often stay here until late in the night. And therefore permission was granted to him that he could have access.
What happened to YOUBE or Uber? What happened to Uber? We pay him so he can take taxi go home.
To the vehicle to ensure his safety in those extenuating circumstances. But certainly no permission was ever granted for there to be any unauthorized usage of the vehicle for personal purposes, nor for incorrect entries to be entered in the logbooks.
Okay, so you would have, my understanding is he was held up and robbed, and as a result, permission would have been granted for him to, is it to keep the vehicle overnight?
In cases where he was working beyond sociable hours.
Okay, and in terms of the, I note, was there a disaggregation? It said, show the facilities and office manager use the vehicle 173 of 183 days often parked off-site overnight. So
Sharon,
how
how
far
you
would the permission have gone in terms of granting him to keep the vehicle?
For the nights when he was here until very late, he would have permission to drive the vehicle home in those circumstances for purposes of safety, but certainly not to use the vehicle for any personal or private use. And as
My girl, oh, that is that personal or private use. Because at the end of his job, whatever I'm going to do with the government vehicle is personal use. Driving it home and keeping it overnight is personal use. Are you saying if him girlfriend, mother, wife, daughter, brother, whatever, take sick in a night, enough it jump in a hit with them, can them go to hospital? Is that the bullshit you're advancing, my dear? Head big like a waff dog.
should also state that during the days, he would have also used the vehicle for official government purposes because sometimes we only have two drivers employed to the parliament. Currently, we have one. So on occasions, he would also assist us in carrying out their activities.
Madam Auditor General, just seeking your guidance here. In a scenario where there are extenuating circumstances and permission was granted by the clerk for overnight use of the vehicle, what would satisfy the Auditor General? Because it was raised as a key finding and a breach. Was it the absence of written instructions, or what would satisfy you that permission was granted in a scenario like this?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, as the clerk shared her position, I was actually consulting with the AP for that area because—
What does AP mean?
I'm sorry, the audit principal,
okay.
With responsibility for the audit, because what she shared just now, that she granted permission for the vehicle to be used in some circumstances, that's actually new to me. So it is not something that I would have given.
Me tell her so she'll make it up as she go along. Because if that was the reality, little girl, you could have said it from day one in the probe. But you think and talk, isn't it? You're thinking and talking, and you don't know. So when you not think and talk is the easiest way to identify lies.
Contemplation, to my understanding, up to this point, is that there was no evidence that permission was granted for the use of the vehicle. I am now consulting with my AP on that. In any event, I believe the circular does say that permission has to be granted by the head of entity. This matter is here as an issue because there was no such evidence that any permission was granted, and my understanding is that the clerk had also denied giving any such permission. I'm hearing something else now, Mr. Chairman, that I really do not want to provide
the darling of integrity, one Pamela Monroe Ellis. Pamela Monroe Ellis no keep nothing for no. Pamela Monroe Ellis don't take bribe. Pamela Monroe Ellis don't greedy. Pamela Monroe Ellis just do our work thoroughly and honestly, little lad girl.
Any opinion on that until I have better particulars of really what existed.
Okay, so am I?
Yes, Madam Clerk, yes.
The facilities and office manager would have made this disclosure to the auditors regarding the fact that he was held up and that permission was granted. And I also do believe that I would, in the exit interviews with the auditors, this would have been stated. What is clear is that there
Wanna put the hashtag in the chat for me now, please. Hashtag think and talk, because she's thinking and talking at the same time. And expose herself as she go along.
was no written permission, and what is also clear is that no permission was ever granted for there to be any breach of the FAA Act or for any incorrect entries to be made in the logbooks.
So just so I'm clear, so there would have been, after the incident, verbal permission would have been granted given the incident, but nothing was put in writing. So when the Auditor General would have done her audit, she would not have seen evidence of permission in writing.
There is no permission in writing, that is correct, but disclosures would have been made to the auditors by the facilities manager of what transpired when he was held up after leaving work very late one night.
All right, I say Member Bunting and Member Seabright. Member Bunting first.
I'm just trying to get some clarification.
As an attorney, Colleen, you're not a good liar, my dear. Colleen, you're not a good liar as an attorney. Attorney tell better lie than that. You're making it up. You never even plan the lie before you come. You never even plan the lie before you come. You're making up the lie as you go along. Boy, oh boy.
On that third bullet point, House of Parliament's response dated September 2025 cited an August 15, 2025 memo claiming clerk's permission.
Hit the like button, please.
Evidence not provided. Is that memo in the package? I must say, if you could point me to it.
If you look at HOP 5, I'm sorry, in the exhibits that we would have sent.
Oh, this is in your response that just came.
Would it be in your management response?
Response that would have been shared via email.
Oh, it's the appendix. Oh,
yes.
sorry.
So
members, I think this is the appendix that you can point us to that particular.
It wouldn't be a page. Exhibits, yeah.
Exhibit what?
HOP 5.
HOP 5?
Yeah.
Slide Green and Colleen as attorneys, may not find them bright.
So this is the one dated or stamped August 15th, 2025?
It's stamped August 18th,
oh, 18th,
but it
sorry,
is dated
August 15th. So of the 173
Remember, just pull the mic closer so we can hear it.
Of the 173 occasions that the employee took home the vehicle, how many of those occasions would have fit the approval that you gave?
I would not be in a position to give specific numbers, but that information could be provided in writing.
But qualitatively, would it have been the vast majority?
Oh, he couldn't think up the liar. So he said, okay, when I go away, I'll think it up and I will submit an answer to you in writing. Girl, you're wicked and lie bad. Who teach you? Well, they went to law school. It's generally what they teach us at law school.
Would it have been half? Would it have been a minority? I just want to get a sense. In other words, was your approval abused?
Baby.
Or was it generally in line with what you had approved?
From my own observations,
right
I
and
would
whistle
state
perfectly.
that it appeared that there was no abuse of the permission
There was no abuse, you said?
Based on my observation at the time.
Which one of the highway I look out, darling?
Additional information came to light at a later time, and that is when I would have provided instructions to the legal department. This was in June of last year, for them to also do a review based on information that was coming to my office about the manner in which the vehicle was being used, to determine if there was any abuse or non-compliance with the FAA Act. And upon receiving that legal opinion from our internal legal branch, the facilities and office manager was instructed that he should cease driving the motor vehicle, because in addition to instances where it was found that it was being used for personal reasons, it was also discovered that he was not ITA certified at the time. He did not have the proper certification that would have allowed him to be driving the government-owned vehicle.
Was he aware that he needed that before the ITA certification? Was he aware of that?
Certainly, because based on his job description, he had responsibility for fleet vehicle management, and one would want to imagine that any officer using due diligence would certainly be aware as to what is required of
blame shifting, blame shifting, blame shifting
them. And there is, I saw something in one of the exhibits where it also indicated that the certification was granted at some particular moment in time. So if it is that it existed and it expired, certainly the officer would have an obligation to.
Oh, so he had it, it expired, and then he renewed it, but there was a gap.
I'm not seeing evidence of renewal.
It was not renewed? No?
I don't have that evidence.
And that certification lasts for how long? I know a driver's license lasts for a particular period. It's 2 years. So every 2 years, the officer would need to renew. So during this period, how long would he have been driving the vehicle without the certification? Approximately how long? Roughly.
Expired, I think July. I think it expired July 20.
Under the company compliance and audits, anything an employer need to have renewed, the company must make sure it is done. Anything, any little license certification or whatever we need a work to do a job, when it's coming up to the time of expiring, we managers make sure we have the course, the certification, whatever it is. So don't put a come here with the blame shifting this morning. Say, Inshilan, what is your responsibility as accounting manager? You said, little girl, you are here in the capacity of the accountable officer of Parliament. So don't come shift the accountability from somebody else now. What is your role there? Idiots.
2024. And he continued to have access, or July 2023.
But what I would ask, Clark, just in terms of checks and balances,
Eugene, how are you?
The onus shouldn't be solely on the individual. There should be a process where someone else would need to verify that he in fact has the certification. It shouldn't be just from a process management perspective. It shouldn't be left to him alone. And that goes for any individual. Someone should. I mean, I can say as parliamentarians, we have to provide our updated documents on a periodic basis to show that we still have our driver's license, etc. So whether it is HR or another function, someone should be checking to ensure that all officers who, whether they're granted government vehicles to drive, that they have the appropriate certification. You want to say something, Madam Auditor General? Member Seawright, I'll come back to you, but just release your mic so I can give the Auditor General. Go ahead, Madam Auditor General.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So I just want to emphasize that the clerk has introduced a new dimension. At page 18 of the report, paragraph 2.8.
Sorry, this is your...
Yes, the annual...
This one, this report.
Correct.
Let me remind you, dear, you are in front of the darling of integrity, Pamela Monroe Ellis. This is not you and Juliet conjuring up bullshit and take long spoon and force it down with throat, you know. It's not really like that, you know. So I don't know. Oh, you go come out of Pamela's clabbering today. First Pamela hear them ya thing, yeah.
Page 18, one
Yes.
second. Let's just get to it.
Section, the revised comprehensive motor vehicle policy is referred to.
You're on what, 2.7?
2.8.
2.8.
Section 5.4.
Right,
Point 4. So it stipulates that the government vehicle should not be retained overnight or beyond the period of specific assignment in special circumstances, such as where a vehicle is used to transport members of staff. And that is where it indicates that the accounting officer, head of entity, can grant special permission. But I want to emphasize that it says beyond the period of specific assignment. The representative from the Ministry of Finance is here, and I believe it would be useful to hear the Ministry of Finance's position on that, because what I am understanding here is that the clerk is saying that she did in fact give the FOM permission to utilize it for personal reasons. I don't know that a head of entity or an accounting officer can grant permission for a fleet vehicle to be used for personal reasons, but you can grant permission for the vehicle to be retained at the end of a special assignment. So if he's transporting members late in night, or he's asked to do an assignment which takes him beyond working hours, then I do believe that permission can be granted to retain that vehicle overnight. So I really want clarification if that's what the clerk said. And as I said, that this is really being introduced to me at this point.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Okay, so Madam Auditor General, just to repeat what I stated earlier, that no permission was granted for private use. I would have given some background information as to why.
Little girl, the fact that he was robbed doesn't warrant it's not your feelings. It's the policies and the procedure. We're not here about your feelings, Miss Lady dear. We're here about the rules and the procedures that you looked away from. Make him uncle, him mother, him brother, him sister, him wife. Somebody come pick him up when he done work late at night time. Or in sleep on the floor of Parliament when him done at night time. But as long as you give him for the reason to go home, idiot, it is per son all. There is nothing for him to do for us, the people of Jamaica, from Parliament to his home and back. Idiot. It's personal. So I don't know what you're reiterating. Idiots. I mean, useful. Not about useful idiot anyway. Donald Trump is a more useful idiot than at least him a mash up America. But then again, I mash up Jamaica already.
The officer was allowed to use the vehicle based on extenuating circumstances. He would be at work beyond 9 p.m. and this can be validated. And in light of the fact, and there was a particular time as well, we are existing in a very antiquated
In light
building.
of what fact?
And we were having.
In light of what fact? In light of the fact, and then you chip to something else. In light of what? What fact is it that you are talking? The light shine on idiots. You know, just make yourself look like baboon in front of we. This is in front of Pamela, Monroe, Ellis. You idiots. You should have at least prepared a few good lies.
Having a lot of challenges, and therefore he, at a particular time, he was here up until perhaps 10, 11, very late in the night. And in those circumstances, permission was granted. And this information is not new. It was clearly outlined to the auditors when they were conducting their research here. So it is not new information, and the facilities manager, I know, has stated this.
All right, Member Clark. Well, Seabright was first, then Member Clark. Oh, but the Member Seabright.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the Auditor General, the management response, it indicated that once the deficiencies in the fleet logbooks and supervision were identified, the Houses of Parliament instituted, I believe, weekly supervisory spot checks, and they strengthened the approval processes and introduced a rule that no fuel or maintenance is authorized without a clearly defined and pre-approved purpose of travel. So from your professional perspective, would you agree that if this is consistently applied, that these measures would directly address the control weaknesses that have been identified in the audit? Now, beyond that, question two, really know, when I went through the reports, the response outlines that the clerk issued multiple written directives, December 12, 2025, January 14, 2026, January 17, 2026, January 19, 2026, requesting explanations and documentation from the facilities and operations manager. Yet these were, repeated refusals to respond. So how does a committee then, how do we distinguish between what could be some institutional control weaknesses, but really individual non-cooperation? And how does an accounting officer handle a situation like that where somebody is blatantly not following internal accountability processes and the audit itself?
Thanks, Member. My quick response to question number two, I think that is that question is best suited for the clerk. I guess she ought to explain to the committee how she will handle this matter. In relation to the logbooks, I believe that if there is consistent and faithful maintenance of the logbook, alongside addressing the deficiencies identified, well, certainly it is hope that there would be improvement in that area in the future. And regular supervision as well. Thanks for that.
Madam Clerk. Well,
so just to state, Mr. Chair, that our response to the Auditor General's finding has been twofold, where firstly, there was immediate termination of the unauthorized access to prevent any further personal use of the government-owned fleet vehicle. And secondly, we have now institutionalized a new structure where we have a new transport manager in place. We have moved from a person-dependent system to a procedure-driven framework. In fact, we are now at the stage, it was raised in the audit report about the non-operational vehicles that are here, and we are almost at the end of the.
How is it that our country is being run? But then you can see, because them your people, every time an Auditor General or an IC report come out, them a put measures in place for this, them a put measures in place for that. And the next year come, the same problem even worsen. I mean, juicy beef galang better than this.
procurement process in getting a haulage contractor to come and remove those vehicles for boarding. And we have a strict zero tolerance policy on uncertified driving. Currently, I can confirm to the committee that we have no officer here at the Houses of Parliament who is operating any fleet vehicle without valid certification. The new transport manager has also implemented and has been maintaining a mandatory register of ITA certifications, and this also extends itself to the office of the opposition leader's office as well. And the new transport manager has been conducting weekly spot checks and monitoring the logbooks. So no resources are being released unless trips are pre-approved as official business with a clearly defined purpose.
All right, members, Clark, then Cousins. Press your thing now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, all. Earlier, the Auditor General would have asked for the permission to be granted for the person from the Finance
Ministry of Finance, Ms. Blake.
To answer a question. But before she does, Mr. Chairman, the same section, page 18, 2.8, I think the answer lies right there. It's section 5.4.4 of the RCMVP stipulates that government vehicles should not be retained overnight, fine, or be on a period of specific assignment, correct, except in special circumstances.
What Colleen explained, Eroy, was not exceptional circumstances. Many of us experience crime and we still get on with life without the government support, without taxpayers' support, Eroy Clark. So there was no exceptional circumstances where he allowed for drive home government vehicle 100 at a time. What was exceptional about it? He couldn't make favor, give one pro box between the give money for buy one pro box between them. Take people for fool.
Such as where a vehicle is used to transport members of staff to and from work or for any other justified extenuating circumstances. The policy authorizes the accounting officer to grant permission for the extenuating circumstances. However, she must satisfy himself of the continued safe custody of the vehicle during these specific assignments. I think the answer lies right there. It is.
I think the issue, if you read the next sentence, is that there was no evidence. So I think that's the issue.
The Auditor General is saying that when she was doing the audit,
she didn't see any
nothing was provided. But the answer earlier from Madam Clark, and she would have explained the situation point by point.
No.
So at this point, I still don't see the need to ask for, and yes, we still can get the clarity from
You're Clark serious, what am I saying now?
But the answer sits right there. It rests with the authorized person to satisfy themselves that this is a special occasion, which we would have heard that the person in question, the officer in question, works beyond sociable time, which I believe is anywhere beyond 9 o'clock going up, considering the situation that was presented to us that prior to that, his life was in question as it relates to a robbery taking place.
Okay. Member Cousins.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, my question and my point is somewhat piggyback.
So what Eroy Clark is saying then, we would then come out with us going robbing government when have to put police there to turn up Just like oh, government make sure in a vehicle for go home, government gonna have to put because we afraid that the robber will life at check because them rob we. Era Clark. That's how you go?
Piggyback on the point made by Member Clark, in the sense that we are here, Chairman, to get some clarity on what is acceptable and what is unacceptable as far as the government guidelines are concerned. The clerk would have indicated earlier, one, that she allowed access for the unauthorized, for the youth to go to university and come back, and also to keep overnight. 2 admissions were made earlier. The Ministry of Finance is here.
You to go to university.
And so we need some clarity, because this doesn't only affect the House of Parliament. It affects other agencies of government in terms of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. We have a scenario before us, whether or not that is acceptable in terms of the extenuating circumstances. I have not heard of any evidence from the officer who says that he was robbed, that he made a police report, and that report is somewhere attached to something given to the Auditor General to verify the extenuating circumstances. So
he did. Did he?
Yes, and that can be provided at a later date.
Provided
no, it's not provided in the
provided to the Auditor General.
But it can be provided.
No, but you see, the point is that if you have it, provide it so that you can verify what you're saying is true.
Exactly.
And that would then would not have allowed me now to ask the question, because I perused the documents, I did not see it. And to an untrained eye, you will miss it. But to a trained eye, we don't miss things like that. So thank you for that clarification. No, she says that she will provide it. But Chairman, I believe the Ministry of Finance.
Okay, I'll ask Mrs. Hope Blake.
Some clarity based on the circumstances.
Hold on, we have a whole heap of mics on.
Before the ministry responds, because I too just want to add something to that. The memorandum of August 15th from the Facilities and Office
members, please. Member Cousins, please.
Speaks to the whole issue of driver certification. And I just want to understand why, the Island Traffic Authority, aren't they the body that issues driver's license generally? Why do they not accept their own driver's license certification? Why is there a special certification needed to drive a government vehicle when you already have a driver's license?
I don't know who here could answer that question.
No, but it just seems like unnecessary bureaucracy to me. Why would you need? It's the same Island Traffic Authority that would have issued every driver's license, whether private, commercial, general, whatever the categories are. So why would you need a special certification from the same authority that issued the first one? Is it they don't trust their own certification? Because this is not a specialized vehicle. We're not talking some heavy articulated tractor head or something like that. We're just talking a regular, Prado. So that's one. And then there's this issue about the distinction between the yellow-plated vehicles, and I'm reading from this memo, and the privately insured. So I'm going to assume that the yellow-plated vehicles are uninsured or self-insured by the government, and that the privately insured vehicles are the ones with the regular white plates. And again, I just want to understand if there is some distinction between those who are certified to drive the same vehicle, for example, a Prado that might have yellow plate in one instance, but white plate in another instance, but is the identical vehicle.
All right, I don't know who can answer those questions, but I want to invite Mrs. Blake from the Ministry of Finance. Member Gordon, just release your mic and then turn it back on after. No, he was after him. I'll come to you. I'll come to you after, Member Corporate.
All right. Member Clark read from the policy, but I'll just read another section that talks about the unproductive use of fleet vehicles. Section 5.4.2 of the Comprehensive Government Motor Vehicle Policy says, drivers and other authorized employees who operate fleet vehicles must note that the government motor vehicles should only be used for official duties. Therefore, on no occasion should these vehicles be used privately. So that generally governs the use of fleet vehicles. He read further down by 5.4.4, which talks about the extenuating circumstances that gives the accounting officer the right to give permission to an officer to use the vehicles. But of course, you would have seen up here that it spoke about not using it for private use. And the example given here is if persons work late and you have the driver, then you wouldn't require the driver to carry back the vehicle to the premises of the entity, right? So the driver would be allowed permission to take home that vehicle once the accounting officer satisfies him or herself that the vehicle will be safe. So that's generally it. So there is the possibility that the accounting officer can give permission. In this case, he said he was robbed, etc. But of course, there needs to be evidence of that. And therefore, it would need to be in writing, because you would also need to know how long is this permission being granted. So those are the considerations. In terms of Mr. Member Bunting's question about the yellow plate and the white plate, assigned vehicles. So if most of the assigned vehicles are privately insured, are insured, not self-insured. Fleet vehicles generally are self-insured by the government.
And those are yellow plates?
Yellow plates.
Okay. Okay. All right. Member Gordon, then Member Cuthbert. Oh, she answered it? Okay. Member Gordon.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm grappling with the fine line of demarcation between what is approved by the accounting officer and the policy as it relates to who can drive a government vehicle. It would also seems to me that there's a void where there's one driver short at the Parliament. So over time, that driver was asked to carry those functions. Would the Auditor General tell me whether or not that constitutes a breach? Or is it that the clerk failed to have adequate staff on board so as to avoid the approval of the use of that vehicle?
Thanks for that question. Mr. Chairman, if you'd allow me the privilege of deferring to the representative from the Ministry of Finance who developed the policy, and I think is in a best position to indicate the intent of the policy.
Okay. Mrs. Blake?
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, section 5.4 again. Earlier, it talks about the transport manager will be the officer authorized by the accounting officer to assign and manage the motor vehicles. The intention is that government vehicles, government-owned vehicles, are driven by, we call designated drivers, government drivers. So that's the general rule, right? If you have a government-owned vehicle, not the assigned vehicles now, but once you have a fleet vehicle, there is a driver and there is a post, there are posts designated for drivers to operate those fleet vehicles. So generally,
hold on, something wrong with the mic there. You want to turn off that one and use the other one. Turn it on off, use the other one.
All right, sir. Right. In addition, the policy says the transport manager has that only authorized personnel are allowed the use of a fleet vehicle. All right. So there might be instances where there is given permission for another officer to drive the fleet vehicle. However, that person has to be certified, etc., to drive the vehicle. And we do not expect that that would be on a protracted period of time either, because you have positions that were created for drivers, and it is expected that they operate the vehicles.
All right, Mrs. Blake, I want to come back to one. Oh, you want to ask your question now? Okay, you had asked to do.
Ask another question, if I'm
Okay,
allowed.
all right. Before you do, just following up on what Member Bunting had asked about the difference between the ITA certification versus the driver's license. Is that a requirement developed by the Ministry of Finance for certain vehicles that the person must be ITA in addition to having their driver's license?
The motor vehicle policy does indicate that the driver has to be certified. However, this is in keeping with the ITA, the act that they use. So it's just a reflection of what the ITA requires, that the drivers are certified. I think this came out of a concern that there were multiple accidents, and the ITA had, at the time, felt that part of the issue was that the drivers needed to be recertified.
And this goes across the board for all government vehicles?
Across the board.
Okay. All right, Member Corporation.
I hope we can wrap this part up soon, but you know, from what the member just stated, I don't.
What kind of wrap it up soon? Wrap up what soon? Feel about iron donkey.
I think it's a non-issue what was mentioned if the clerk failed or not to employ someone to transport persons around.
You know, so the Skettle Road though. She tell us it's a non-issue. You know the Skettle is very road.
The Ms. Hope Blake just mentioned that the FAA Act, according to the FAA Act, once authorization is granted for the vehicle to be, for someone to keep it overnight in extenuating circumstances, that I'm hearing that it's okay once it's written, correct? So I don't think, I think it's a non-issue for you to mention if the clerk failed or not. I just wanted to point that out.
Let me just say before I remember, God, the only reason this was flagged as an issue, at the time of the audit, the Auditor General didn't see written permission, which is why she raised this as an issue. The clerk has said that she provided it to the auditors in the interviews, but at the time she didn't see it. All right. Member Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think my question was misinterpreted by a member from West Road. St. Andrew. At no stage did I refer to the clerk as being derelict in her duty. I asked the question whether or not the shortage of a driver would place that person who was authorized to use the vehicle in a precarious position because he was acting in a capacity not available to the Parliament at that time. And hence, I'm asking the question whether or not it would satisfy the Auditor General that the accountable officer made that authorization.
This has to be the most powerful smartwatch the world has ever seen. Just pop it on your wrist and in.
All right, I'm going to move to the issue of the government-funded credit card. And the issue that was flagged here is that there was an error in terms of the transfer of funds, and it was undetected for 4 months. I've noted your response since and the issue of a new principal financial officer. But prior to that, could you indicate how regularly were the accounts being reconciled and whether the individual before was doing that on a consistent basis? It appears not, but I just want to find out from you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Based on instructions received, it is our understanding that the reports were not being maintained in a consistent manner, and proper oversight perhaps was not adopted in the circumstances, which would have led to this processing error from the bank.
And let me just ask, I note you have said since the new PFO has come in, does the principal financial officer report directly to you, and does he give you a status report with a monthly or so to say all the accounts have been reconciled and provide the evidence, give you evidence that statutory deductions are paid, etc.? Is that provided now?
That is correct. He does provide a monthly report, and I can tell you that prior to even my tenure here at the Houses of Parliament, we had an issue where a lot of staff were being either overpaid or underpaid.
Valerie now.
The new PFO has joined the institution, we have seen several changes, and certainly reporting mechanisms are strong, and we do not have any outstanding quarterly credit card reports at the moment, and this can be attributed to the oversight that is being provided by the PFO.
Member Bunton?
On this issue, I mean, $29 million is not a little bit. Is it that the Parliament is so flush with money that they don't catch a 29 million error in transferring? There must have been, was there not a shortage somewhere else that would have indicated that this substantial sum is missing from where it should have been? I mean, and then for it to go undetected for 4 months, I mean, to say indicates weak reconciliations, that must indicate no reconciliation was taking place. How would a $29 million transfer error to a card account not be detected in the normal, I would imagine, at least monthly bank reconciliations that should take place?
Thank you, Member Bunting. So just to state for the record that the erroneous transaction occurred on January 31, 2025, during the tenure of a former PFO who was on secondment to the Houses of Parliament and had the functional responsibility for oversight of the recurrent account. Now, also to state for the record, the credit card in question, it has a limit of $5,000 only. So the error would have occurred between the financial institution, because if we only have a limit of $5,000, on what basis would you seek to withdraw or to make a claim for $28.96 million?
But I'd go further. On what basis would any officer of the Parliament do that transfer?
It was not transferred. The transfer was done based on my understanding from the Accountant General's Department. So it's not like the PFO. It is not my understanding.
Colleen, the little girl beside you roll REI. Colleen, the lady beside you, she roll REI. Postword door. Whoa. Are the first one to her, Colleen? You see how she roll REI?
Oh, so it was not initiated by someone at the Parliament?
Not mine. 1 second.
They don't know. Nobody don't know. Money just have wing and foot overnight, so. Money with wing and foot.
Okay, thank you. So
Wing
I've
and foot
just
money.
been properly advised by the PFO that we had submitted a letter to the bank for payment on the credit card, and then the bank actually made that processing error in withdrawing more than what was stated in the cover letter to them, and we.
So you sent to the bank the amount that you felt should.
So they must say, if the bank take out so much, oh, you never short of money. Eh? No, sir.
have been withdrawn, and the bank withdrew significantly more.
That is correct. We're just trying to find.
And you never miss it.
Okay,
Yeah, if you
so
could
it's at
direct us to that memo, please.
It's at exhibit HOP 9.
HOP 9. Hold on. So,
Juliet teach you fit tell teach you fit thief and tell lie, but he never teach you fit thief tell lie good enough.
this is the January 28, 2025 letter to the
That's-
manager of Scotiabank.
Yes, that's correct.
So your instructions were for the Jamaican equivalent of 181,000 Jamaican dollars. Hold on, let me just make sure I'm reading this right. With the Jamaican equivalent of, be credited to the US account. And they took out, so instead of 181,000 Jamaican, 28. Sorry, I'm just trying to understand. I'm a little confused here. Because you are saying 181,000 Jamaican, but what was done was 29 million?
They converted it to US dollars, it appears.
So
that
they
converted this Jamaican.
took the Jamaican equivalent, assumed it was US.
It appears to be, that is what transpired.
Hold on. Let me read this. The Houses of Parliament is hereby requesting that the recurrent expenditure account be debited with the Jamaican equivalent. All right. Well, I see why they're confused. Because you said with the Jamaican equivalent, so they would assume the 181 is US. I think this should have been written with more clear. It should have been clearer. Okay, I understand why the error was made, but it still don't explain why it takes so long to pick up the error, because that's a lot of money that you would have missed, that would have been taken out of your account, and but you are saying the accountant general did that transaction?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I stand corrected.
Hold on, Member
You
Brown
did
has
say
been
that.
waiting. Go ahead, Member Brown.
Thank you, Chairman.
Pull the mic a little closer to you. So.
Thank you. I wanted to piggyback on your earlier comment, and also I think Member Bunting, in terms of the undetection of this for 4 months. Specifically, I want to find out what is the management framework that you have in place, Clerk, to receive, and I see that seeping in through quite a few of the different findings of the Auditor General in terms of her report. What is the management mechanism you have? Because I see where after the issues have been highlighted, yes, the corrective actions have been instituted, but consistent throughout many of the findings is some indication that there is a gap in terms of management mechanisms, oversight. So I want to understand the structure of the Parliament in terms of, is there a monthly management meeting where all the functions are brought together to report into you so that these things are not undetected. And as I said, it is right across the board. The appropriations account, the breaches on the...
What this is exposing is that all of these people with these high-ranking position at Parliament, them just come sit down, eat, talk, and mind people business at daytime, and nothing get done. Literally, nothing get done.
The fleet management, those are being detected by the auditor. But what is the mechanism that you have in place at the Parliament to ensure that? Well, walk me through that, because I'm pretty concerned about that, because there seems to be that gap in terms of a monthly review, feeding in from the different functions, fleet, finance, whatever the function, so that those issues are detected early and continuously. So could you guide me and walk us through those?
Okay, thank you, Member. So just to reiterate, all persons who report directly to my office must submit their monthly reports. But one can also appreciate that where an individual fails to incorporate certain information in their report, it would be somewhat difficult for where I sit to note that there has been a gap. We had a PFO at the time. Part of her responsibility was to ensure that the accounts were being reconciled, and clearly there was a failure. However, during transition, we got a new PFO who started the 1st of April, and by the 5th or 6th of May, thereabout, he detected this error. So it is clear that it's not a case where systems are not in place, but also a case where persons may not be applying themselves to
And
the systems that exist.
Officer with the oversight and
Thank you for that
accountability
response,
has failed on
Madam
all
Clerk.
things.
So you get the report, all functions submit the report to you, but there's no active monthly meeting of the management and the leadership core of the Parliament where there's a discussion of these reports, so that if, for example, because you may be bombarded with 5, 6 different functional reports per month, because the fact is they are going undetected. The issues are going undetected, whether it be previous PFO or it being detected by the new PFO. It went 4 months undetected, and you would have received the 4 months of report from the, as you have outlined, from the outgoing PFO. So is there, and it's just trying to understand what is the management oversight that happens, so that, and perhaps implementing such a structure where, apart from getting the reports and you being, encumbered with going through that, there is a monthly leadership meeting of the Parliament where those reports are discussed, so that the gaps and the undetection do not occur.
Okay, so we currently do not have any set monthly meetings for management, but as I have said before, even with the written report, there's an obligation for persons to pay due diligence and to give an accurate reflection.
I don't know. I've been working in the private sector for many years, and we have to have monthly staff meeting, or at least quarterly staff meetings. Some place you work at 2 weekly you meet, but nothing no go on a Parliament, nothing at all, other than turn up and eat, chat, and get money.
Of what transpired, I usually go over. Sometimes it's not possible to have these regular meetings because we have sittings twice per week in most instances, and there are other administrative and competing issues at hand. So it's somewhat difficult to have a prescribed monthly meeting, but there is a monthly reporting structure, and I do take the time out to review those monthly reports, and if there are questions or
you are missing a lot in the monthly report. That means you are not reading them, or you're not understanding what you're reading. So maybe if when the whole honor did sit down around one round table and everybody are present their report, things wouldn't pass by you in a general sense, where you'd have more reflection and can dig deep in. You're not even read the report, them idiot. Fool. You're not even read the report, them, because you get them and you never realize how much a million gone out of the account.
Flags, I will reach out to that officer to request further clarification.
Just in future, you have to keep on your mic because it goes in the order. So I'll ask.
It's so easy to become a podcast.
Globally,
with Rivers.
We're going to leave it here so this morning. We've seen enough of Colleen exposing herself. We see that our parliament lacks structure. We see that our parliament lacks structure ever since, especially ever since them push out Valerie Curtis. Nothing is happening there. No rules are being followed. No administrative policies and procedures are being followed. It's like, you know, you just turn up and everybody sit down under the mango tree and gossip till you're ready to get up, go eat, or get up, go home. It's basically how the nation business is being run. Look, a girl, you expose yourself. You're a liar and a thief. Anyway, we're gone about our business because look, a sun out a door, and even though it's cold, it's worthwhile going for a walk. So, thank you all for being here this morning. Lovely to have your support as usual. Please do join us back this evening for the people's point of view. Thank you all very much. Good morning and good afternoon from Global TV.
Too long in our little ghetto, run keep going on, less process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So justify and I as a watching man, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Hey, oh, night. We gotta bust down Babylon walls. Preparing the way. Preparing the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down, war and crime. Fight down. Me say Rastafari. War and crime. And do the righteousness. And we love. And we love Jaja. And we love Jaja.
Rastafari, save all people.
And we love Jaja. We love Jaja. We love Jaja.
Rastafari, save all people.
Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I and I as a watching man, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I and I should never hold thy peace, while we penalize. Hey, oh, night, we gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare the way. Prepare the way for Rastafari. Fight down war and crime. Fight down war and crime. Rastafari, war and crime, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah, and we love Jah,
Rastafari, we love all.
And we Me love Jah Jah, Jah Rastafari. Me love Jah Jah, Jah Rastafari. Me love Jah Jah, Jah Rastafari. Preserve all. Me love Jah Jah, Jah Rastafari. Jah Rastafari. Jah Rastafari. Yeah, the next song is going to be the last song for tonight. And then DJ Twink.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.